This is Tirupur, also known as the knitwear capital of India. And this is Mariusz, the CSR manager for Continental, a Fair Share-Foundation member company. Mariusz visits Tirupur regularly, and over the years he has built a close relationship with his supplier. Mariusz has set out on a mission to improve working conditions at the factories where Continental clothes are made. And part of that is ensuring that the workers can make a living off their work, that they make a living wage, and so began a groundbreaking project.
What it looks like from above, we make about 8,000 t-shirts a day here. We came to India in 2007. The idea was to produce the perfect t-shirt in terms of minimizing negative impacts on the environment, on the workforce, and on local economy. This is a typical piece of clothing, which is a basic t-shirt. High quality organic cotton, climate neutral. At the beginning we started with the basic things, like regulating excessive overtime and health and safety at workplace. And eventually we got to the point that we've covered most of the pillars and we were left with the last one, and the last one was the living wage.
A living wage is the minimum amount of money someone needs to meet their basic needs, such as food, housing, utilities, bus fare, medicine, or sending their children to school. Most workers in India don't make a living wage. They struggle to support themselves and their families.
The people are without living wage, they are suffering. They are not able to work happily. And also they are making a lot of efforts to work more and more. Because of all these conflicts, people are getting suicide. This kind of impacts are there in the community.
To calculate a living wage, you can look for benchmarks and numbers from different organizations. But Mariusz wanted to hear it from the workers themselves. So, with the help of local NGO Save, he asked the workers how much they would need per month.
The first thing was to find out the current living conditions. We needed to find out about their purchasing habits, about just their normal daily life. How many people live here?
Six of them.
And how do you manage in such a small place?
இந்த சின்ன வீட்ல எத்தனை பேர் எப்படி
இருக்காங்க? பக்கத்துல சின்ன ஒரு ரூம் இருக்குங்க. அங்க இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் இருக்காங்க. இங்க நாங்க இருக்கோம்.
Okay.
நானும் எங்க வீட்டுக்காரரும் அங்க இருக்காங்க குழந்தையோட. இது எங்க மாமனார், சின்ன மாமனார், அத்தை இவங்க எல்லாம் இங்க இருக்காங்க.
We started with a very simple question, if you were earning an extra 1,000 rupees, what would you be spending it on? What would be your priorities? On the reflection seemed very reasonable and very modest in a way. For example, everybody agreed that in the kitchen they need an electric grinder, but nobody said they needed a fridge, for example. After all the calculations, we arrived at the living wage benchmark, and that was 466 rupees per 8-hour shift. It was clear that there was a proportion of workforce that were below the required 466 rupees benchmark that we set.
Mariusz calculated that if Continental paid 10 pence more per t-shirt produced, all workers could be paid a living wage.
The fundamental problem with increasing the price of a product is that it is completely counterintuitive. Everybody's talking about reducing costs, and suddenly here you are, you're coming along and you're saying, well, guess what? I volunteer to pay you more.
Which is not that easy. When a t-shirt is produced, it has to go from the factory to an agent. Then it needs to be shipped. There's import tax to pay. And more costs by the time the t-shirt reaches a store. And as the t-shirt goes through that supply chain, the original price gets marked up. So that 10 pence ends up being very expensive. And so does your t-shirt.
So the only solution that I could come up with was to freeze this 10 pence. So in other words, the extra 10 pence at the factory gate would still be extra 10 pence on the floor shop.
In 2016, Continental set up a new brand called Fair Share. Those who buy Fair Share products pay an extra 10 pence, a Fair Share premium for each t-shirt. And this money goes directly to the workers. Fair Share still covers only a part of the production, so not all workers get a living wage yet. But as more customers become willing to pay 10 pence more for their t-shirts, more workers benefit.
எக்ஸ்ட்ரா வருதுன்னு நினைக்கும்போது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் தான். ஏதோ ஒரு நல்லதுக்கு கொடுக்குறாங்க, அது நமக்கு அது ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும்ல அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி தான் அவங்களும் நினச்சி எங்ககிட்ட சொன்னாங்க. எங்களுக்கும் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருந்தது.
They were really happy. They were first time they were hearing about this new concept of living wage giving, but nobody in the industry, 99% nobody in the industry, they're giving this living wages.
After 3 months, we asked Fair to carry out an audit to verify whether the money were actually getting to the workers the way we said they would. And I was very pleased to see that the headline result of the audit was that the money were getting to the workers through their monthly paycheck in the entirety. It's great because those people do such an incredibly good job for us, and we've invested a lot of money in product itself, and now we feel that we are really, also investing in them. We're paying something back to them for the work that they've done. So we're looking at this person. He is a tailor. So altogether he received 525 rupees as the living wage premium. Excellent. So all this is very nicely kept, just as we set out to do it. It turned out that they were spending money on paying off family debts. They were spending money on extra education for their children, extra medicine. It was great to discover that.
We had positive feedback from the labourers saying that outside labourers also started to hear about this living wage program. All the experienced new labourers are coming inside. So we had 25% of less absentees every day.
Mariusz believes that the long-term relationship with his supplier is one of the main ingredients for success. It's a crucial factor in Continental's push to improving workers' lives.
What are they going to be loading?
New machines.
The machines for the...
We discussed last week.
Okay. We talked about these machines months ago, and I was sort of invited, as I am invited in all circumstances, to be part of the decision-making process. Undoubtedly, the nature of our relationship with the supplier, the length of the relationship, but also the closeness of the relationship was essential for the success of this project.
The way Continental have taken some steps forward to pay the living wage is much appreciated, and it has to be continued in a sustainable way, and also the monitoring also have to be very strong.
This is just the beginning, really. I mean, we still have some way to go. So we are looking at rolling it further down the supply chain, gradually increasing and bringing everyone, within the entire supply chain all the way down, to bring them up to that level. So this is going to take a while. I think this is a very good sign that you can actually demonstrate that this is possible, that India doesn't have to be some kind of a sweatshop, that it can actually be an exemplar factory that is providing sustainable work for local communities. Yeah, and I hope that others will follow and perhaps even be inspired by the fact that things like that are actually happening and are real.